Hello, good morning and welcome to Sport for Business, where we're joined this morning by a former Meath GAA footballer, manager and now agribusiness manager at Kepak. Mick, you're very welcome to Sport for Business.
Morning, Rob. Delighted to join you.
Great to see you. Great to talk to you. I see from your background there that you have St. Peter's Club in Dunboyne, and that's the latest of Kepak's sponsorship investments in Gaelic games in Meath. Tell us a little bit about how that came about and what it's going to mean for the club.
Yeah, I suppose the history of Kepak supporting the community really goes back to the early 80s when Noel Keating founded Kepak in Dunboyne, actually 40 years ago this year. And I suppose back then, Noel was always supporting the community, and his family have continued on that tradition. It was very obvious in the early 90s and stuff. You saw the name, the Kepak name on the front of the Meath jersey from 1991 until 2005 when Sean Boylan retired as manager. But long before that, I suppose Noel was always supporting community projects. You know, workers, a lot of the workers in Clonee, in the headquarters where we're headquarters, would come from the local area, and he would be supporting not just sporting teams that they would be involved in, but other community initiatives.
This is a big investment, though. This is more than your average community investment. I think I've seen a figure of €2.5 million over a 10-year cycle. That's real commitment.
Yeah. So I suppose Dunboyne would be an example of a club that has really mushroomed in terms of numbers over the last number of years. You know, if you go back to that 80s and 90s, it would have been quite a small village, and you know, members, you know, maybe at one stage I recall I used to play Dunboyne and they were junior and then intermediate, so they probably only came up senior in the early 90s. But they've grown from strength to strength and won many senior titles at men's level, but also at ladies, huge growth in the sport there, ladies football, camogie. So I think now when I was out at the launch of the Kepak Park in Dunboyne, I think they're expecting maybe 1,500 members within the next 5 years. So that would be kind of equivalent to a lot of the clubs in Dublin, many of the clubs in Dublin, and that's what Dunboyne are dealing with. So as a result of that, I suppose they're trying to improve the facilities and the academy for their young players coming through that will be playing, you know, the boys, the girls, camogie, Gaelic football, hurling football, ladies football, etc. So they have a really ambitious project underway, and we were delighted to support it.
And it is very much the boys and the girls, because Kepak were, as you said, on the front of the Meath men's shirts for 15 years, including an All-Ireland. It didn't take quite as long to win an All-Ireland with the ladies' jerseys, because they only went onto the jersey in January of last year, and immediate payback by winning the intermediate title. How did it come about that you went in to support the ladies this time around?
Look, I mean, the lady, there's been huge work being done in Meath in the last number of years from underage up, and I'd have seen that and been involved in it myself. Actually, my club is Screen, and I've seen what's gone on throughout the county at ladies football level, and they've been knocking on the door there for the last number of years. And I suppose, you know, maybe just working hard in the background, and we were just delighted to come on board, work with them. There's a great tradition between the Meath jersey and the Kepak jersey, and going back to those great days in the 90s, particularly in the 80s as well, when Noel was supporting, but there was no Kepak on the jersey. But in the 90s, you know, they used often talk about the Kepak jersey rather than the Meath jersey. So we were really delighted to renew that connection with Meath GAA, and delighted for the group of people that were involved, Eamon Murray and his management team, and all the girls that had put so much in, suffered heartbreak for 2 years in a row, but didn't give up, came back stronger. And that kind of spirit is kind of something that Kepak always has related to, you know, that never give up, keep at it. And yeah, we were delighted and looking forward to seeing how the girls now perform in senior this year. again, I know there's new players have come into the squad, so they're hoping to go from strength to strength, and we'll be happy to work with them on that journey as well.
And in the Wall sisters, there's a couple of real stars on the team as well that have already created a stir at national level. The men's game, you dropped down to Division 2 in the Allianz League this year, but looks as though you're set fair for a return to Division 1. How has the GAA family been in the course of the last 18 months over lockdown? Has there been progress? Has there been a movement back towards re-establishing Meath at the very top table?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's when we were on such a high for so long, there's a real hunger and desire to get back there. And look, there has been a lot of work going on at all levels within the county. And please God, we've a big game against Kildare to get us back up to Division 1. And that would be really important to be there, because the stats show over the last 10, 15 years that you really need to be competing at Division 1 in order to be in the race for the Sam Maguire. So hopefully we'll get back, we'll beat Kildare and get back up there. But look, to go back to your general point, I suppose the last 18 months, Rob, has been a huge challenge for the country. But I think it has kind of taught us loads of different lessons, and that connection with each other that the GAA really, I suppose, builds within communities. That has been really important for people, and you've seen the kind of work that people have done in terms of helping out early on in the lockdown to deliver food and medicine and stuff like that to houses. That was really important for the communities, and former players touching in with older members of the community to regale stories of the past or share stories, and even small things like that meant so much to so many people in the communities.
It is often the small connections like that make sport so special, and the GAA is such a great community organisation. You mentioned, though, the fact that this was a journey that Kepak were going to be on with St. Peter's, the club, with the ladies at senior inter-county as well. How does a corporate organisation embed itself into what is such a community organisation?
I suppose a lot of it comes down to just the people, and the values of Kepak, and I just look at we're looking at a picture behind me there of Dunboyne, and like when Noel Keating would have came to me in the early 80s, there would be many people, I think someone like Paul Finn, who's very involved in Dunboyne Club. His son plays with Dunboyne, captained them to win the Keegan Cup. Paul was in Clonee when the factory was being built, like helping to turn the sod, So it's just about like kind of the people. It really is all about the people, and supporting them. If people are working hard in their communities and are looking for support in some way, Kepak have always, and the Keating family have always been there to get behind it. That's probably the way it answers, I suppose.
Well, it does take good people with good facilities to create a great team. Who knows? We might be back talking about St. Peter's at Dunboyne as AIB All-Ireland Club champions in years to come. But for the moment, anyway, thanks very much for taking the time to be with us. Mick O'Dowd, Agri-Business Manager at Kepak.
Thanks very much, Rob. Delighted to join you. Thank you.